Your time, your energy, and your attention are the most valuable currencies you own. Yet, most men treat them like infinite resources, dumping them into interactions that yield zero return on investment. You are being drained by a cycle of social theater that is designed to keep you stationary. You are not a lack of effort away from success. You are a lack of structure away from it. To build a meaningful connection, you must first stop being a participant in a chaotic market and start building a life that demands a higher standard of entry. We are here to dismantle the cycle and rebuild your protocols from the ground up. Today, we move beyond the superficial scripts that keep men small. We transition from the participant, the man who reacts, into the architect. The architect defines his own reality. He does not beg for it. If you are tired of being a disposable option, listen closely. We are not here to offer trivial tips. We are here to rebuild the 7 protocols that define true, unshakable masculine power. Your presence is your leverage. Your silence is your strategy. Own it. Here are the 7 traits women truly respect in men. Before we begin, like and subscribe to The Silent Roar. The foundation begins now. Protocol 1. The calibration of tension. Most men treat interaction as a binary state. Either they are desperate or they are emotionally unavailable. They see flirting as a collection of tricks to be performed. This is the mindset of the performer, not the sovereign. The architect views the conversation as a pressure system. He does not memorize lines. He monitors the temperature of the interaction. When she mentions a preference, the average man agrees, nodding along, hoping to avoid conflict. He is essentially erasing his own personality to make room for hers. The architect uses the tension calibration. If she mentions a detail, he doesn't just agree, he adds a layer of intellectual friction. It is a dance of energy, not a quest for approval. By holding her gaze and then casually redirecting his focus, he signals that his attention is a valuable resource, not a baseline expectation. He is showing desire without the collapse of his frame. He is not trying to prove he is the one. He is simply sharing his authentic state. When you internalize your own worth, the performance stops. Flirting is no longer a task. It is the natural byproduct of a man who knows exactly who he is. Once the tension is calibrated and your frame is set, you are ready to command the physical space. Protocol 2. The physics of proximity. Imagine a standard interaction. The environment is saturated with noise. Most men operate under the assumption that they must fill this noise with verbal input to maintain a connection. They believe attraction is a transaction. If I speak, she must respond. If I give a compliment, she must acknowledge it. This is a system failure. The architect understands that human connection is not built on what is said, but on the physics of presence. One of the most critical elements of this is the signaling protocol, the tactical, non-transactional touch. The average man links touch to a hunger for feedback. He touches to see if she likes him. Because he is seeking a return on his investment, the woman senses the tension. It feels like a plea for validation. It creates immediate social pressure. The architect operates differently. He utilizes touch as a way to calibrate the space, not to test his standing. A light, neutral touch on the arm, a guiding hand on the shoulder, these are not requests for permission. They are signals of a man who is comfortable within the borders of his own reality. When you offer this touch without the desperation of wanting something back, you communicate something profound. You are not hungry for her energy. You are a leader, a protector, and a man who is entirely present. As Marcus Aurelius instructed, stop arguing about what a good man is, be one. You do not negotiate for space, you occupy it. Protocol 3. Data acquisition through silence. We live in a world of constant low-level signal noise. Everyone is waiting for their turn to speak, filtering the world through their own insecurities. When you listen to a woman, the average man is already formulating his next response. He is listening to respond, not to understand. The architect practices data acquisition. He listens with clinical precision. He is not trying to solve her problems, nor is he trying to impress her with his own anecdotes. He is observing. He is analyzing the patterns of her speech, the logic of her demands, and the consistency of her values. This is the ultimate form of respect. Most men treat women like props for their own ego. By giving her your full, undivided attention, you are providing a rare intellectual environment. You are looking past the surface-level noise to see the person underneath. Epictetus noted that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. By listening twice as much as you speak, you stop being a participant and start being an assessor. You are determining if her standards align with your own. When you ask meaningful questions, you aren't just being polite. You are conducting a stress test on her character. You become the man who truly understands her, and in doing so, you become the man she is compelled to remember. Protocol 4. The systemic stability test. Life is defined by volatility. There will be moments when she is late, when the plans shift, or when the mood sags. The participant reacts. He sees a change in her behavior and interprets it as a threat to his reality. He becomes defensive, anxious, or passive-aggressive. He is quite literally handing her the keys to his internal state. The architect runs the systemic stability test. When the disruption hits, he pauses. He does not react from a place of biological instinct. He remains the steady anchor in the room. This is not about being cold. It is about being unshakable. This calm is a rare, high-value asset. In a world of chaos, the man who remains grounded becomes the container for everything else. She will test this stability, not necessarily to be cruel, but to see if you are a leader who can navigate the turbulence of life. When you refuse to let your mood be dictated by her responsiveness, you are signaling that your reality is your own. As Seneca stated, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Your stability is your message. You are not easily moved, you are not easily shaken, and you are entirely self-governing. Protocol 5. The market withdrawal. This is the most counterintuitive protocol, and yet it is the one that forces the most significant shifts in her perception. The average man fears silence or distance. He sees her withdrawal as a loss of power, so he chases. He doubles his efforts. He seeks to fill the void with his own desperation. The architect understands the power of market withdrawal. He does not chase, not because he is playing a game of spite, but because his time and energy are finite, high-value assets. If she is not reciprocating, he doesn't compromise his standards. He withdraws his investment. This creates a vacuum. When you stop chasing, you create the space for her to wonder. She is no longer being chased. She is being observed. You are showing her that your life is full, your mission is clear, and your happiness is not dependent on her presence. Desperation repels, but self-respect creates a gravitational pull. By showing that you are okay, genuinely okay, without her, you force her to confront the reality that you are not a subordinate. You are a prize, and you are a prize that recognizes its own worth. Protocol 6. The protocol of selective disclosure. The participant treats conversation like a confessional. He believes that by sharing everything, he is building intimacy. In reality, he is devaluing his own currency. The architect practices selective disclosure. He treats his internal reality as a restricted territory. He does not perform for an audience. He understands that intimacy is not a gift you give to anyone who shows up. It is a reward you reserve for someone who has demonstrated the capacity to appreciate the depth of your life. When you do not dump your story, you create intrigue. It is not about being manipulative. It is about being disciplined. You have a complex internal mission, and you only invite people into that mission once they have earned a seat. This is not a barrier. It is a filter. By controlling the flow of information, you maintain the mystery of your character. You become a man who has a story to tell, but one that is not easily read by the casual passerby. Protocol 7. The architecture of environmental agency. Finally, we arrive at the root of the interaction, the environment itself. The average man seeks to fit into her world. He asks where she wants to go, what she wants to do, and how he can accommodate her schedule. He is essentially applying for a job in her life. The architect exercises environmental agency. He is the curator of the space. Whether he is organizing a meeting or guiding the flow of a night out, he defines the parameters. If the environment is misaligned with his standard of excellence, he does not complain. He either resets the environment to fit his vision, or he removes himself from it entirely. This is the ultimate shift from servant to architect. You are not a guest in the world. You are the one defining the landscape. When you take responsibility for the quality of the interaction, you remove the burden of decision-making from her, and you replace it with the confidence of a leader. You are the container for the experience, the synthesis of the architect. The road to this level of mastery is not found in lines you memorize or techniques you cycle through. It is found in the slow grinding work of building a life that is so compelling, so sovereign, that others seek entry into your orbit rather than the other way around. The world of attraction is not a competition to be won. It is an intersection of entities. If you are not actively calibrating your existence, you are being calibrated by the expectations of everyone else. The cost of your inaction is a lifetime of wondering why you were never chosen, why you were always the backup, why the high-value connections you desired remained perpetually out of reach. You are paying for your weakness with your own time and your own potential, but you have the power to change the frame. Every interaction you encounter is a training ground for your own sovereignty. The next time you find yourself wanting to chase, wanting to perform, wanting to beg for the crumbs of her attention, pause, run the protocol, analyze the data, remain the anchor. You are no longer a participant in the chaos of the modern dating market. You are the architect of your own reality. The silence you keep is your strategy. The boundaries you build are your power. The sovereignty you embody is your prize. Stop looking for someone to make you whole and start building a life that is already complete. Own your presence. Build your structure. Like and subscribe to The Silent Roar.